Okay, we start the last session before the lunch. We will try to be as quick as possible, but hoping also to see some interesting things. I want to first of all thank Francesco once again for inviting us here, and we are very proud of being here today because we were invited by Francesco since the first edition of the Shipping and Law. And we hope not to have deluded him in the past and not to do that in the future. So we hope to be invited for the next 10, 15, 20 years of the Shipping and Law. And thank Francesco also. All the time I would like to say this because thanks to this event, the people from Naples as well as the non-Napolitan can have the chance to see our secret beauties. Thanks to Francesco, we have opened all the places that I believe are of great interest apart from shipping. So really, really thank you. And our session is called Looking at Future. And we will try to give our vision of how the shipping companies can be in the future, with relation to what's happening in this world today. And I am very proud to have at my left Mr. Peppino D'Amato, because he's a great witness of the Italian shipping industry, and he's a great sign and witness of what we will talk later on, is the capability of the family companies to resist throughout the cycles and throughout the crisis. And we are very proud to have him in our session for the second year in a row. And I want to give a big applause to Mr. Peppino, also remembering that a few weeks ago he did his 90th birthday, but is younger than his age, of course, and we are once again very proud. Our session, looking at the future, the shipping industry is facing, as all of you are aware, a very delicate moment. And some of the segments of the shipping are still like the bulk carrier, for example, they are still suffering a very long-lasting crisis, and we really don't know when this crisis will be over. Some other segments, like offshore, were massively hit by the slump in the oil price. And we really don't know when the oil price will recover and how much time it will be needed to absorb all the new vessels in the market. Tanker during the last years went to several ups and downs, which made very difficult for traditional ship owners to plan their investments. On the other hand, we have to say that the low oil price was certainly a good factor for ferries and passenger vessels. But in general, the shipping is changing a lot, and this put the traditional ship owners in front of several important choices to be done to survive or to implement their strategies and to grow. The global, the competition today is, as I was saying before, harder and harder, and not only because of the general slowdown of the global economies, but in particular because there were in recent past massive investments from investment funds that wanted to enter into the shipping, as well as let's say financial institutions or speculators. In general, traditional ship owners like to say, I will not appreciate it by everybody here, that those guys enter into the shipping believing that the core business was only to buy a vessel and sell the vessel at making a capital gain on that. The traditional ship owners like instead to focus on the ship management of their vessels. I want to stress also another important point is a paradox, but in shipping, the bankruptcy of a competitor is not always a positive thing. Actually is very negative sometimes for what is happening, because you have vessels that then are sold to very cheap prices to other competitors and come back in your same market without the previous financial weight, and so they can run for very, very low daily rates. Same is happening for certain type of restructuring which are more aggressive, especially the restructuring of very large companies owned by investors or financial or funds. And also with the recent, under the eyes of everyone, bond emissions to save some I'm speaking, for example, about offshore large companies, technically in bankruptcy in Far East or in the North Sea. So it's very difficult also for a shipping company, the Italian. We remember that the Italian shipping industry is made up 99% by families to survive in this very harsh environment. On the other end, on our favor, we have, as always, we say the know-how. The know-how of the Italian shipping industry is gathered and made up in several generations, is very strong, and I believe that would be the base and the key point around which we have to build our future. Obviously, the know-how comes from a long time ago, but we have to revitalize the know-how by structuring our companies, and this is something which we are doing, and trying also to gather investments from third parties in our companies exploiting this know-how. I will be more clear on that point. The main focus of our company in the future should be and is, of course, the management of the vessels rather than buying and selling. So what I see in the future is a family company which will not necessarily own 100% of all its vessels, but should manage vessels and gather also others to invest in his company, because his know-how, the way of management is better than the others. And so we need to base our strategy not in having more vessel than our neighbor, but in to manage our vessel better than our neighbor. This is a key point for me. This will imply two things. The first is an improvement of our whole department of our companies by hiring into our companies more skilled and prepared and specialized managers. And this is already been made also by the small companies. And this will imply, of course, also a different role of the ship owners in the future. We will assist probably to a ship owner which will be not more the leading man in each department of his company, but will be surrounded by very skilled managers. And maybe could do some step behind in order to give, the possibility to improve our, his company also by giving lots of space to specialized managers. We have to always think how different is the world of today from the world of the past. If we speak, yesterday there was a very interesting financial sessions where they were speaking about a different way of obtaining, money from the banks. So the lending market is changing a lot. Probably we will be in front of private lenders than traditional banks, which implies that we need to have more and more skilled figures in our financial departments. We assisted today to a very interesting technical sessions, and we need more and more young and prepared and skilled technical managers within our company, ready to understand that sometimes investing now, it's a good thing for the future rather than a waste of money. But I believe that this could be certainly a change in a way of management of the company in the future. I want to pass then the word to our speakers, but before I'd like to say once more what I said many times here in Shipping and Law and other conventions, that a great point in favor of the traditional ship owners towards the financial investors, institutions, and private equity funds is that we can survive by not making money in a short period for years, and adding a vessel to our fleet is more important than making money. So we have this capability. We don't have the immediate need for a return on investment, because for us adding a vessel which will be named as our daughter or mother or sister, whatever, and which flags our flag, is more important than everything. And knowing all the ship owners in Italy and many European ship owners, I can really bet on this topic. And so thank you very much, and sorry if I was not quick in this my first intervention, but I would like to introduce our panelists. So we have Mr. Peppino D'Amato, which all you know, and I believe that it's very important for us today to steal some of his, some of his minutes to, exploit his experience in this panel. And then we have Giacomo Gavarone, which is the owner of the largest tag owner company in Italy, and is a very skilled and a young ship owner, as well as commercial manager of his company and vice president of the Young Italian Ship Owner Group. And we have Lorenzo Matacena, an extremely experienced young, young but very experienced ship owner, the owner of Caronte and Tourist and board of directors. And we have our very good Greek friend Yannis Trifillis, which is the executive committee member of the Hellenic Chamber of Shipping. And all of them, they have a very, very interesting topic to show to all of you.